See you, Space Cowboy. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Blu-ray review, and this time it's a bit of a double feature Blu-ray review. I will be covering both the complete series Blu-ray edition of Cowboy Bebop, as well as the movie, Cowboy Bebop the movie. But let me concentrate first on the series and then we'll get to the movie later. This is a very popular, very famous, very iconic Japanese anime series, and this first aired on Japanese television back in 1998, so it is the 20th anniversary of this first premiering on television. It initially aired its first 12 episodes, and then it was promptly taken off of the air because the content was deemed too violent, and it wasn't until a year later that they finally aired all of the 26 episodes, or sessions as they are called, on Japanese television. It didn't air in the United States until 2001 on Adult Swim. If you're not familiar with Adult Swim, it is a kind of a subsidiary of Cartoon Network. It is a late night, more adult, more mature lineup of TV shows. That's where you'll find shows like Adventure Time and Rick and Morty. Those are current shows. This show has been off of the air for a rather long time, but this is one of the Japanese animes that people say if you're looking to get into Japanese anime, this is the one you want to start with. And as someone who is relatively new and more of a novice to Japanese anime, I definitely agree with that sentiment. This is an amazing series. This is just a stunning amalgamation of so many different great elements. This is a show that combines elements of detectiveness, of bounty hunting, of philosophical discussions like existentialism. Also has a sense of neo-noir throughout it as well, the style of it. There is a musical score that this show is known for that is a mesh of jazz and blues and opera, as well as a little rock and roll in there. It is an awesome blend of all of those elements. And if you're not familiar with this series, don't worry, I won't spoil any of the plot. I'll just give you a brief synopsis. Essentially, this is set in the year 2071. It is 50 years after some calamity dealing with a space gate that makes the Earth uninhabitable. So humanity has to colonize and has to spread out throughout the galaxy on other planets in order to survive. Due to all of this kind of widespread colonization, there is a lot of intergalactic crime going on. And the intergalactic police force can't handle all of it, so they have made bounty hunting legal. Essentially, intergalactic bounty hunting, it can be a profitable enterprise, and this series concentrates around a group of characters who are part of the crew of the Bebop, hence the name of the show Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy is also referred to the bounty hunters in this series as well, and it centers around the characters of Spike Spiegel, Jet Black, Faye Valentine, Ed, and their dog Ein. Every episode is essentially them going after a different bounty. There's a lot of two-part episodes. There are some three-part story arcs as well. You get a sense of deep characterization throughout the series, which is something I really love, especially for a series that is only 26 episodes long. I like how each episode feels anthological, but there's an overarching kind of story or mood or themes, especially with the characters as the show progresses. As you can see here, this is a rather compact set. This is put out by Funimation, which probably many of you are very familiar with. They have the rights to a lot of Japanese anime here in the United States, and this is not the only edition that they put out. They put out this edition as well as a dual format edition that was an Amazon exclusive that had both Blu-rays and DVDs, as well as a Funimation website exclusive that was a giant vinyl shaped packaging. The Amazon exclusive is still in print. You can still get it. I believe the Funimation one is now sold out, and actually Funimation is going to be putting out a new, more expensive, more deluxe edition of Cowboy Bebop sometime this year because it is the 20th anniversary. Now, what I'm hoping with that set is that they remaster it and make this show look better than it does on here. Unfortunately, when it comes to the overall picture quality, it's not particularly great. It looks better than the DVDs ever looked, but there's a lot of picture quality problems with it. I won't go into too many technical details. Essentially, there's some shimmering problems, some aliasing problems, and what Funimation likes to do with a lot of their older Japanese animated series on Blu-ray is they like to degrain a lot of them. They like to take out a lot of that film grain, which is something you don't want them to be doing, because the film grain is integral to the detail that is in the picture. That is something that is naturally supposed to be there. You don't want that taken out, because then things tend to look unnatural. And they didn't take out all of the grain here in Cowboy Bebop, but they took out a lot of it, and that is a problem. There are other sets out there that look a lot better from other countries and other companies, and hopefully their new set does look a lot better. But just getting into the packaging, here you can see that it comes in a slipcover. You could possibly still get it with the slipcover or without the slipcover, depending on your preference. Here on the front you see a kind of collage of all of the characters, the show's title in Japanese as well as English. Here on the side you see the title of the series once again, with a little dog eye in there at the bottom, and of course the same can be said on the other side. On the back here is the details and a short synopsis of the series. I will be going into more details about the special features later, kind of a disc-by-disc breakdown. They really don't do a good job of listing all of them on here. There's quite more than what is on this list here. So if you take this slipcover off, you basically get the same exact picture art that you got on the slipcover. It's a little cheap, it's a little lazy, but I guess it is functional, and I guess it kept the cost down of this set. This set is still rather affordable. If you're still looking to get it, you can find it on Amazon rather cheaply. Once again, on the back, still the same old stuff that's on the slipcover, and on the side, the same that's on the slipcover. And once you open up the set here, you get the discs here. It is a 4-disc set. Disc 1 is here, Disc 2 is on the back, Disc 3 is over here, and then Disc 4 is on the back. What is nice about the discs is, I don't know if you can tell, but they are made to look like vinyl records, which is very interesting to me, and it very much suits the show. It suits the show because all of the episode titles have something to do with music. They are either a song title, an album title, or a specific musical genre. So music is a huge part of this series, as you can tell. And over here on the back, I'm not quite sure if you can see it, but on the sleeve itself are listed all of the episodes, which is kind of nice. I kind of really wish that they would have put in a booklet that had the episode listing, just to get a better look at the sleeve art. Here is what is inside through the case that I was just explaining. There are each character in their own color there. If you're interested in what the Amazon exclusive dual format looks like, essentially it's a black box with all of these different pictures on the front of it. You can find it online. It's interesting how they decided to duplicate a lot of the art in their sets. Another technical aspect about this set is that the audio is Dolby True HD 5.1 in both the English dub as well as the original Japanese audio. It does not contain the original Japanese audio in its original audio format, which I know is a big deal for a lot of anime purists. Before we move on to discussing Cowboy Bebop the movie, let's first take a look at what the special features are on these discs. First up here on Disc 1, Session Number 1, which is Episode Number 1, has an audio commentary with Koichi Yamadera, the voice of Spike Spiegel, and Unsho Ishizuka, the voice of Jet Black. Then for Session Number 5, or Episode 5, there's an audio commentary with Wendy Lee, who is the English voice of Faye Valentine, and ADR producer Yutaka Masiba. And on Disc 2, there are 2 more audio commentaries. The first up here is for Session Number 10, or Episode 10, and it is with Wendy Lee and also ADR producer Yutaka Masiba once again. And there's also an audio commentary for session number 17, or episode 17, with director Shinichiro Watanabe and composer Yoku Kano. Moving on to disc number 3, there is an audio commentary for session number 24 with Megumi Hayashibara and Ayo Tada. Megumi, I believe, is the Japanese voice of Faye Valentine, and Ayo Tada is the voice of Ed. Next up here, we have Cowboy Bebop session number 0, interview with Wendy Lee, the English voice of Faye Valentine, interview with Cartoon Network producer Sean Atkins, original opening song, original closing song for episode 13, original closing song for episode 26, textless opening song, textless closing song for episode 13, and textless closing song for episode 26, the US trailer for the series, and then trailers for other Funimation titles. Disc 4 is entirely an extras disc. All of the episodes are on discs 1, 2, and 3. And the 4th disc has Memo from Bebop, the Dub Sessions Remembered. This is a reunion special that is with the English voice cast. This runs for about an hour and a half, which is a significant amount of time. Next up here is Iron Summer Vacation, which is basically a minute-long kind of short done in comic book panels. Next up here is Tank full-size music clip, then Tank club remix clip, the UK version, and then the last feature here is Dinner Aboard the Bebop, which once again is a reunion of the English dub cast. So that is the Cowboy Bebop the Complete Series Blu-ray. Now let's move on to talking about Cowboy Bebop the movie. This is Cowboy Bebop, the movie. This came out originally in Japan in 2001, and I think in the United States in 2003. This is not a sequel movie. This is not a prequel movie. This actually takes place during the series itself. It takes place in between sessions 22 and 23. And that is important to know because if you're someone who likes to watch things in a certain specific order or the intended order, you're going to want to know that. I personally watched the series up to 22 sessions, then watched the movie, and then continued on with the rest of the series, and it kind of flowed very well. You'll definitely notice a lot of differences when it comes to the television series as well as the movie. A movie's budget is a lot higher, the technology they have at their disposal is a lot higher, so aesthetically it looks quite different, and I think it looks rather cool and rather better, more digital, more modern-based animation. Not that the old animation is bad in any way. If anything, it looks fantastic, and I love that old hand-drawn style, but it's nice to see that they were able to take that hand-drawn style, put some CGI over it, and still stick to what the heart of what makes Cowboy Bebop so damn great, and that is the characters. This edition is specifically put out by Sony and not Funimation, although the new 20th anniversary set that Funimation is working on will include the movie. Whether it is going to be just the same exact mastered edition that we have here or something different, or whether Sony is going to put out their own edition, I'm not quite sure. But what you have here is a plain Blu-ray case like you've seen on many of them before. This is the typical Sony kind of snapper Vortex case. On the back here is more artwork as well as a synopsis of the movie. There are no special features at all on this release, so that is another reason why I wish they would re-release it as well. The set opens up like this, and what you get inside is just the plain old disc with kind of rather plain old artwork. If you are interested in getting this, it is rather affordable. I actually found this in a Walmart Blu-ray bargain bin about a year or two ago. It is that readily available. It is very cheap on Amazon as well. I highly recommend getting this, especially if you become a fan of the animated series, as well as if you're a completist like myself. Also, it is a rather great animated film just onto itself. It feels like an elongated episode of the series, but with a higher budget. So this has been my Blu-ray review of both Cowboy Bebop Complete Animated Series as well as Cowboy Bebop the movie. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel.